What a pleasure to have you join us as I'm conversing with Nanci Kreidman, CEO of the Domestic Violence Action Center. That's a mouthful.
Not really. It's not as big as the job we do.
Yes, and that job that you've done over the years is so important. Do you share a little bit more about how it got started and your role?
Well, we were inventing a journey to have the community respond to the problem of domestic violence, and we had shelters in place and we had support groups in place, but there was still a gap, and we needed some legal services and some advocacy. And Hawaii Women Lawyers called me and asked me if I would help in designing a way to employ the tools of the legal system. And that was the birth of the Domestic Violence Legal Hotline.
Is that your background? Is law your background?
No, I'm a community activist. And I had started another domestic violence program, which is now the Family Peace Center. Not having ever been a victim of abuse, child abuse, sexual violence, or domestic violence. One of the lucky few who has not had to suffer the harm of abuse. But this is my life's work.
And maybe because you know you're one of the lucky few, the love that you're able to share and the vision comes from the dream of peace and safety.
I think so. It comes from a higher place. It's a higher vision that I think many of us hold. And it's the boots on the ground that help us carry ourselves forward to achieve it as a community. And I'm happy to be a part of that.
You know, over the years, what you've been able to share with us in your role as leader of this awareness is that domestic violence is unfortunately more common than we would like to accept. What does that look like in a home?
Well, it can take many forms. There's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, threats, intimidation, physical abuse. There's a variety of tactics that one person who holds the power typically uses to control the other person. It doesn't look the same in every family or in every relationship. We're all different. There's the general misconception that it's all the same, that we would know a victim if we saw her because she always looks like a victim. That's simply not the case. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate.
So what does your center do in terms of addressing those differences?
We work individually with a person, a man or a woman. Most likely it's a woman. That's a conversation for another day. It's a bigger conversation. But most likely it's a woman with children. And she has some hard decisions to make about how to become whole, create a pathway forward for her and her children so that they can heal from what they've experienced and rebuild their relationships and become the best they can be. So we have attorneys who will represent them in court. We have advocates who will help them navigate that path. We have educators who go into the schools and help young people understand. We have programs for immigrants and Native Hawaiian families. We've tried to meet the increasing awareness about what domestic violence is and what our community must do to cultivate safe families, which are at the core of a healthy community.
And with so many pieces to the puzzle, you still are smiling and bright and lead the way, lead the charge, if you will. What keeps you so positive?
I just feel I'm in the right place at the right time. And I have been given any number of opportunities to carry the voices of people who don't have the access that I do, and been given permission to say out loud what many people wouldn't.
And you swim every day.
I swim every day. I try to take very good care of myself. There's not one formula for everyone, but for me, I've employed physical exercise, a spiritual dimension, the company of a loving family and
girlfriends.
And good friends. And so I tinker with it all the time.
Thank you for the work that you continue to do. Nanci Kreidman, CEO of Domestic Violence Action Center. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you again.